So Bob, before we start talking about the installation, I have to go back and tell you about when I first met you, because that is part and parcel of the installation that
this could be scary, doing. But go ahead, I want to hear it.
What became evident to me meeting you for the first time was your devotion to family. And I remember the first time that I went to hug your neck, when hugging was allowed.
Yeah, back then.
I had to get up on my tiptoes to do that. And what I came to appreciate about you is that you carry a kind of love and light in you that almost asks of people to get on their toes and stretch that idea to be part and close to you. And I've discovered through my years with you and our friendship that light and love is just a part of who you are. And the remarkable thing about that is that you bring that to Smith and Associates. And I hear that from people all the time, that you've built a company that, for all of the grand properties that you represent, are really about people gathering around a kitchen table and finding a sense of home and place. And I was just wondering if you could share for a minute what it is that you do that conveys that to people. What is it about you and the people that you hire and your presence in the community? Because you're such a philanthropist.
Well, you are nice to say all those words. I don't see all those things. One never sees that about themselves. They just live their life. And I was telling the family yesterday, you know, my kids are in the business with me, that although Mary Smith had passed the ball to me, I said it was sort of like a win, because it was just some phones and a few people. And to think about today, the impact as a brokerage that we have every day for individuals new moving into the area, folks moving up, generations of families now that we've been able to serve. And I reminded, because we had our staff meeting yesterday, I reminded us that it's one person at a time, and how do we serve up that delightful purchase that's going to be a place for a lifetime that they will be in and have all the joys that you can have in a home, you know, because that's what the house is about. Recently I moved into Old Northeast, and one of my many moves, and I encourage people to move, so I'm a big mover that way. But recently I moved in, and this couple from New York moved in, and they have 3 lovely children. I said to Miles, we will now get to see them grow up, you know, because the pleasure of a home gives us the pleasure of so many positive things that can be in one's life.
Well, I know this installation that we're partnering in on your front steps on Beach Drive will really draw people in and create a conversation about a sense of place and purpose and how that's created. And of course, it's steeped in poetry.
As it should be.
And bringing people into that concept of home and hearth through poetry, I think, is a really powerful combination. And we're in that cycle of the year where we are entering and approaching the very longest nights of our year.
Correct.
And if anything is more emblematic of the year that all of us have experienced, these have been some really long nights for everybody in our city and in our midst. And I know we're both witness to the hardship of that and the tensions that can create in people's lives, which makes it all the more important that we find ways to bring light into people's lives and also open ourselves up as well to have that light come in.
So the fun part about the installation and speaking to you early on, where you're collaborating on ideas that you're so good at, it ends up being on the solstice. The solstice sort of is our closeout date, but by then folks have been writing about the light and thoughts about the light, both internally and with their friends and with their family and in the places they live. And then we start the clock going the other way. We start this process starting Monday of days getting longer and the light getting brighter. And certainly in 2021, as we get to those light days, we want to see the light come on for everybody in many different ways. And I hope this art installation provides a little bit of impetus for people to have that light thought process, for each of them individually.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't help but share a blessing for a new home, because that's some of what you do through your work and through the people that you serve and through your philanthropy, because while you're in the business of creating a physical relationship and marriage to a house, a home, a condo, an apartment, there are also other people that I know through your philanthropy, through the company's philanthropy, create a sense of place and create a house of belonging. And I think that's such a powerful thing that Smith & Associates does. And so I have a favorite piece of Blessing for a New Home that John O'Donohue, one of my favorite poets, shared. And I'm not going to share the entire thing, but I think it's a little bit of what we're trying to share with people from passing by. So, a blessing for a new home. May this house shelter your life when you come in home here. May all the weight of the world fall from your shoulders. May this home be a place of discovery, where the possibilities that sleep in the clay of your soul can emerge to deepen and refine your vision. May it be a house of courage, where healing and growth are loved, where dignity and forgiveness prevail. A home where patience and spirit is prized and the sight of the destination is never lost, though the journey be difficult and slow. May there be great delight around this hearth. May it be a home of welcome for the broken and diminished. And may you have the eyes to see that no visitor arrives without a gift, and no guest leaves without a blessing.
How nice that is. That is superb. And you point towards me, but I am the conduit for our 280 agents and 50 staff people that really provide the momentum for people to get to this great place as described in the poem. And like a machine, every day they have to figure out how to get the keys from one party to the next. So everybody can get on their way or get in their way and enjoy what they have before them. I love that poem, and I love the idea, especially this time of year when we talk about the hearth, the home, the light, the candles, the spiritual moments we have for each of us. Perfect. So one of the the pleasures of work with Katie Tully, for me, it's not been a lifetime, it's not been long enough, but what parts of my life that I've enjoyed her company and her constant attention to the arts and other people and building a best community, which is what we're about. She established the Poetry Bar, which now is running a little different in parallel, like this event here, which is in an open space. And are there other opportunities for Poetry Bar to appear in the future in different venues like this? Well, how do you see it grow itself now?
Well, as you know, we had 3,600 square feet of space for the Poetry Bar, and it was so much about bringing people into close proximity with one another and joining as a community and discovering and rediscovering our words and the way we put our words together that bridge that space between us. And surrendering the physical space for the Poetry Bar was one of my big losses this year. And so I've had to rethink, how do you keep poetry out in front of people? Because I feel like the Johnny Appleseed of poetry. That's part of what I can do in the community. And so I've experimented with a number of things that have been so much fun. I've been delivering poetry, like FTD flowers, to people's doorstep, often with unusual objects accompanying the poetry, sometimes to the home of people I know, and sometimes to the home of people I have no connection to other than the person who wanted to bring it to them. And so I'm learning through COVID and all of the manifestation of the rules of COVID to still find those ways, and doing the kind of pop-up that we're doing is so meaningful to me because we will come in contact with so many people just passing by on Beach Drive, some that know about the encounter and some that don't. And sometimes I find that's the way that we discover our words in the most potent way. They come out of the blue to us or in some unexpected way, and that they shine some light inside ourselves, something that is illuminated as a result of words and poetry in the absence of touch and hugging.
Well, that is promising for all of us that follow Katie and follow the Poetry Bar and her work. And we are so fortunate in this community to have that Katie Tully both is a poetry activist, but more importantly is one more person that is a true soul of this city and making this a better place for all of us, which we're very fortunate to have. So thank you again.
Thank you.